There's something special about the way we look at things when we're kids. Everything is new, everything is possible. Every step, every question is born from what we see. Our gaze isn't just a way of seeing, it's the doorway where everything begins to take shape. That's why, when something isn't seen clearly, it's not a minor detail. It's like missing part of the journey. And taking care of that isn't just a small thing. It's about taking care of the way we discover, understand, and imagine. Today, after years of research, those who focus on our visual health have taken an important step. They've created lenses that not only correct our vision, but also protect us from the progression of myopia. Lenses that understand nothing can stop us, that we learn by watching what's happening around us all the time, and for that, we need precision, comfort, and the freedom to see beyond what we can even dream. Because seeing well isn't just about focusing. It's about being able to be present, to move forward, to live without interruptions or barriers holding us back. They say we're the future, and it's true, but to build it, we first have to see it clearly.
Myopia brings us together. Thank you for joining us at this key moment for children's visual health. Today, we are here to present the clinical results of a new lens, understanding the magnitude of a problem that is increasingly affecting millions of families around the world: progressive childhood myopia. For a long time, myopia was considered simply a minor refractive error, something that could be corrected with glasses, but it's much more than that. But in recent years, science has sounded the alarm. With the changes in habits brought by modern life, myopia is not only increasing, but it's doing so at an unprecedented rate. According to projections from the World Health Organization, more than 50% of the world's population will be myopic by the year 2050. And what's most alarming is that this growth is starting earlier and earlier in childhood. This isn't just a statistic, it's millions and millions of children who can't see well today. We're talking about a problem that directly impacts the quality of learning, social life, and emotional development. And most seriously, they're at risk of developing severe eye diseases in adulthood, such as retinal detachment, myopic maculopathy, glaucoma, and central vision degeneration. This isn't an isolated phenomenon, it's a global trend, silent but devastating if no action is taken. At Novar, as an optical technology company, we understand that our responsibility goes beyond just designing the best possible lenses and products. It's necessary to understand the problem deeply, in all its scientific and social dimensions. That's why we work with researchers, vision professionals from all fields, pediatricians, and specialists from different disciplines to understand not only how myopia can be corrected, but also how we can slow it down and how we can act in time to protect children's visual future. Novar MyoFix is the result of that vision. We are driving change with an optical treatment developed using clinical criteria and based on scientific as well as clinical evidence, which can make a real difference in a child's life. It's designed to support professionals and families in this urgent mission, because when it comes to children's visual health, there's no time to lose. Thank you for being here and being part of this. What comes next is the result of years of research, teamwork, and above all, commitment to a cause that brings us all together, helping children live and see a better future.
Hi, I'm Rafael Riberan. Thank you, Mauro, for all your support and trust. I'm an ophthalmologist and a researcher at Novar. Here we are presenting the results of 1 year of follow-up with patients with myopia. First of all, I have to say that I've been working at Novar for 2 or 3 years now, and that the beginning of these lenses we developed dates back to 2010, when Neil Sharman dared to say that the lenses we were using to correct myopia were causing part of the images outside the fovea, around the macula to fall behind the retina, and that this could be stimulating the eye to grow faster, thus worsening myopia. That's why, in 2020, we teamed up with Martin de Tomas, and in 2022 we published for the first time a completely innovative new type of eyeglasses for myopia control. Here are photos of Martin, who was the first to grind it in a conventional lab, and Gabriel, who ground it for the Novar digital lab. It's a lens that has 9 millimeters in the center, like other similar lenses, for distance vision, and the entire rest of the periphery acts like a positive lens placed in front of the eyes. We now know that positive lenses in front of the eyes slow down the growth of all experimental animals, and also in humans. Here we have a pair of glasses that looks completely normal, without any kind of aberration. And when we place it in front of a grid, we can clearly see the myopia control optical zone and a peripheral zone that practically has no magnification. That's why they're so tolerable, because they don't have a prismatic effect at the edge of the frame, and they're also thinner. So, what did we do when we finally had these lenses ready to test? The first thing we did was a short-term study that lasted 4 months, where, in Abelsef's lab, we basically tested 17 subjects to see if the lenses would cause the choroid to thicken, just like when positive lenses are placed in front of the human eye. And yes, we found that the axial length shortened. As you can see in the black bars, the axial length goes down because it shortens, most likely because the choroid is thickening with these myopic lenses. And then Martin de Tomas, who was trying to test where the shadows from these defocus lenses were being produced, came up with the idea to stand in front of several devices until he found one that projected shadows onto the retina in the defocused area. And here you can clearly see that the optic disc, off to the side, is completely out of focus with a grayish area, while the fovea and the central area of the macula are in sharp focus to allow the person wearing these glasses to see well. So today, we are presenting 2 years of work, starting in 2023 and going through the middle of 2025. We have 10 months of enrollment and 1 year of follow-up with around 50 patients, with 25 ophthalmologists working in different centers and 22 optical shops that fitted the lenses. We had a computerized medical record which, thanks to the help of the Novar IT team, allowed us to have a centralized and computerized system where all the doctors entered their patients' data. We enrolled 47 patients, of whom a small group did not end up picking up their glasses, moved to another city, or had issues with the frames. So, in the end, we enrolled 36 myopic patients who were able to complete the 12 months of follow-up. The average age at first prescription in the sample was 7.5 years. So, this was a sample that likely had fairly severe myopia, since the onset age was very early. The average spherical equivalent, as we'll see later, was about 3 diopters. These children spent 20 hours per week, or about 3 hours per day, outdoors, and spent 2 hours per day using cell phones or tablets. As I mentioned, the average spherical equivalent was close to 3, a moderate myopia. The average K value was normal, and the mean axial length was a bit longer than normal because it was a myopic eye, and there were no differences between the right eye and the left eye. Despite that, we took the average of both eyes. So, what did we do? We analyzed all the variables we had measured: gender, family history of high myopia, schooling, which could be either half-day or full-day, housing, which could be with a garden or without a garden, nighttime reading with cell phones, as well as the age of onset and adherence too. We conducted a multiple linear regression analysis, and all variables were not significant in relation to progression, except for adherence, as we'll see now. The children who had good adherence progressed by 0.10 in 1 year. 0.10 diopters is very little, because normal progression is 0.50 in a year, and the children with poor adherence progressed by 0.40. And here we see what the causes of poor adherence were. The causes of poor adherence were not related to the lens design, but rather to aesthetic issues, the frame. And there were 2 children who switched to contact lenses simply because they wanted to wear contacts and stopped using the MyoFix. The children who broke or lost their glasses and were embarrassed to ask for a new pair because they had been given to them for free. And others were kids with low myopia who weren't dependent on glasses and only used them for an hour or 2 a day at school, not wearing them all the time. We had 2 virtual control groups from the Americas, one from the United States and another from Argentina. The group from Argentina was a pre-pandemic group where we had measured the children with cycloplegia. In the United States, there was a group of children treated with atropine that had a control group, which represented the natural history of myopia. And here we see, compared to the control group from the United States, how the progression was almost double compared to the progression with MyoFix, shown in black lines. The dotted line represents the progression of the spherical equivalent in the United States. And here we can see how different the distribution is. In light green and light blue, the distribution of change in axial length with the MyoFix group, and the much greater distribution of change in axial length in the United States group. Here we see big differences. With good adherence, progression was 0.10, with the control group 0.40, and with poor adherence 0.20. And if you compare these figures and calculate the percentages, you can see that 70% of the sample had good adherence, 75% showed good effectiveness, and 94% relates to tolerance, which is the question we asked everyone at 6 months. If they tolerated the glasses well, if they could use them easily, and 94% said they tolerated them perfectly without any discomfort. Here on the left, you can see how myopia progresses over the course of a year in the control group from the United States. And here, how myopia remains stable and only progresses in the children with the dotted line, who are the ones that had poor adherence. And here we see, with respect to a normal growth curve that has been recently published, how the children in the MyoFix group, both boys and girls, follow the growth of the normal curve, except in very few cases where the curve deviates from normal. Recording paused 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Jorge Pozo, let's take a minute to think about what happens with high myopia. Today, with blending technology, we can create very high corrections with high astigmatism, and they look very nice, as shown here in the image on the right, the cut with blending. But in no research study have these children been followed over time to see if they respond well to treatments with atropine or with special lenses. That's why we believe these children need special care, especially those with high myopia and early onset, who require combined treatments. We want to thank all the institutions, all of which are mentioned here. There are a lot of people who participated. Thank you all very much. The great progress in myopia depends on everyone, not just doctors and ophthalmologists, but also architects, engineers, lighting specialists, teachers, pediatricians, and the whole community.
In 2021, our research and development department was presented with the challenge of designing a lens for controlling progressive myopia that, on one hand, could be cut using a freeform generator that requires the use of conventional semi-finished blanks, whose technology is based on peripheral defocus, and on the other hand, is as aesthetically pleasing as possible for the patient.
Different models were evaluated, trying out various types of transitions and different optical zone diameters. For each of these, the refractive impact was analyzed by measuring choroidal thickness, as well as patient tolerance and the final aesthetics of the design. Finally, we found that a design with a diameter of 9.75 millimeters, peripheral vision greater than 3 diopters, and an aesthetic neutralization zone outside of 34 millimeters in diameter met the conditions we were looking for.
Yes, that's right. So we used a third-degree polynomial-based transition to connect the central zone, that is, the optical zone, with the peripheral addition. This means that with a length of 1.5 millimeters, it's a lens that's easy to shape, easy to polish, and virtually invisible when it comes to the change in power.
All this work was complemented by subsequent clinical studies that were carried out over 12 months, which confirmed both the therapeutic value of the new lens and the high rate of patient tolerance to using this design.
That's right. And that's how MyoFix was born, a lens that not only represents an excellent option for managing progressive myopia, but also, because it doesn't require special semi-finished blanks, makes it a much more accessible alternative compared to what's been available on the market up to now. Additionally, since it has this peripheral power drop due to the effect of the addition, combined with cosmetic neutralization, this makes the lens significantly thinner and lighter than a conventional one with the same corrective power. And because of all this, it also minimizes the distortion of the patient's face when seen through the lens.
We are very proud to have contributed, through the development of MyoFix, to this global cause, the fight against the progression of myopia.
Today, we know that both the geometric design of the lens and the spectral composition of the light reaching the retina are key factors in the progression of myopia. Recent studies have shown that myopic eyes exhibit lower dopaminergic activity, which predisposes them to greater axial elongation.
And it is precisely blue-violet light, from 360 to 400 nanometers, that can stimulate this dopaminergic activity through specific neural pathways. This is why exposing the retina to this radiation in appropriate doses has been shown to have a protective effect against the progression of myopia, both in animal models and in human studies. That's why, at Novar, we designed an anti-reflective treatment specially formulated for myopia. Developed with intelligent eye-coating technology. It reduces reflectivity in the blue-violet spectrum, allowing this beneficial light to reach the retina more effectively.
The result is a lens designed for myopia control, not only through its geometry, but also by means of a synergistic effect with radiation. A combination of advanced optical design and intelligent coating that provides the most comprehensive protection, backed by current scientific evidence.
Hola, soy papá de Valentino. Él tiene 5 años y a los 3 años, en promedio de un control de rutina con un oftalmólogo, le determinaron que tenía una miopía significativa para su corta edad, en donde salió que tenía menos 3.5 de graduación en un ojito y menos 5 de graduación en el otro. ¿Cómo nos enteramos de MyoFix? Bueno, por medio de una consulta a su oftalmólogo. Ya llevamos un año desde que Valentino había empezado a usar los lentes y en este caso el oftalmólogo nos comentó de un tratamiento nuevo que se había empezado a utilizar en Argentina para controlar el avance de la miopía y se trataba de estos lentes especiales. ¿Cómo fue la adaptación de Valentino? La verdad es que fue muy buena. Cuando empezamos a poner el uso de los lentes, nos comentaron que la idea es que utilice los lentes entre 4 o 5 horas diarias y que lo haga en actividades que cuando está dentro de su casa, ¿no? Con actividades que no requieran de tanta movilidad, ya que al tener una visión disminuida podría llegar a afectar. La realidad es que en la práctica fue otra cosa. Él los utiliza prácticamente 24/7, ya sea para realizar actividades dentro de la casa como fuera de la casa. Él anda en bici, juega con sus amigos, tiene actividad normal con el uso de los lentes, la verdad. Él los utiliza prácticamente todo el día. Incluso él tiene hoy en día otro parcito de lentes convencionales que utiliza donde hace deporte, prácticamente básquet, por una cuestión de seguridad, pero cuando termina el entrenamiento y él vuelve a colocarse los MyoFix, no manifiesta ningún tipo de diferencia. Te diría que para él el uso entre uno convencional y un MyoFix es prácticamente indistinto.
Oh, no. Necesito también el consejo y la ayuda del doctor. Se trata de Isa. No ha venido...
Isabela usa los anteojos MyoFix desde diciembre 24. Buscamos un modelo de armazón que le gustara y que se adaptara a su cara, que no fuera ni muy grande ni muy chico y que le quedara bien centrado a sus ojos. La verdad que la adaptación fue muy rápida. Salimos de la óptica como a las 19 con los lentes puestos y nos fuimos de compra. Ahí medio que se mareó un poco y entonces decidimos dejarlos para el día siguiente. A la mañana se los puso y nunca más se los sacó. Sola fue adaptando la manera de mirar, girando la cabeza y no los ojos, y la verdad que es muy notable la mejora desde que los usa.
En cuanto al uso de los anteojos MyoFix, lo que más me ha llamado la atención hasta ahora es la facilidad con la que se adaptan los niños a usarlos, los usan todo el día, y por otro lado que no te das cuenta a simple vista de que se trata de cristales especiales.
Hola, soy Ernesto García, oftalmólogo en Pilar hace más de 20 años. Y bueno, quería contarles que la gran mayoría de los pacientes que están utilizando el anteojo MyoFix para miopía están evolucionando muy bien, se han adaptado rápidamente y comparativamente con un montón de otros pacientes que no han utilizado recursos para tratar de contener la miopía, están mucho mejor o les aumenta muy poco o nada.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? My name is Agustina from the marketing team.
And I'm Mariana, also from marketing.
We want to let you know that all the promotional material for MyoFix is now available, designed to give the product visibility and support it at every point of contact.
This material includes both physical and digital resources, and among them you can find a lens display with grids, an informational brochure, a visual field display, as well as storage boxes, sublimated cloths, and fabric cases with the product's logo and visual identity.
All of this material will be available in a OneDrive folder, which you can easily access by scanning the QR code shown on the screen. Once inside, choose the file you want to download and tap the download button.
All of this material is also complemented by the campaign we created for social media, and to tell us a bit more about that, I'll hand it over to Carmela.
Well, I wanted to share with you a brief introduction about the new advertising campaign that was designed for different formats, especially for social media. It's based on a simple yet meaningful idea that imagination has no limits. And why doesn't it have any? Because, well, exactly, Novar MyoFix helps ensure that every child has the chance to envision the future they imagine by stopping the progression of myopia in time. That's why in the campaign you'll see different examples of kids dreaming big, whether it's becoming an artist, a teacher, or a chef. And they all share something fundamental, which is a vision that supports them and drives them to build the future they dream of. Well, from this moment on, you already have this campaign available to share with the public in your region, and you also have another campaign that's specially designed for eye care professionals called You Choose. It's meant to highlight the key role that professionals play in decisions about children's visual care. And it's based on an objective comparison between the attributes of the newer MyoFix lens and other alternatives on the market. And, well, it highlights its superior clinical effectiveness in controlling myopia, an optimized aesthetic to improve the wearing experience for children, and its contribution to preventing bullying situations with a much friendlier, more discreet design. And, well, if you want to join in spreading this campaign or any other content related to newer MyoFix, all the materials are already available for download in the marketing folder. And remember that the Lenses landing page is also available, where you can access all the information about, well, this product?
Very quick and to the point. 6 tips to keep in mind when choosing a frame and centering the nasopupillary distances for a design like MyoFix for myopia control treatment. First, when buying frames, make sure they are actually children's frames, not adult frames in smaller sizes. Second, once we have the frame that we need to recommend to a child for myopia control treatment, keep in mind that the shapes should always be more oval, leaning towards panto at most. At a glance, if we see that the shape is wider than it is tall, let's rule it out. Let's pay attention to the bridge. The bridge needs to be closer to the axis of the rim, and it should even be designed and anatomical so that it fits well on a nose where the child hasn't yet developed the nasal septum. This will allow us to maintain a vertex distance of no less than 11 millimeters, so we can make sure that the MyoFix design, that the defocus zone doesn't extend beyond the macular area, because that would actually work against the effectiveness we're aiming for and what we're discussing in this talk. Now, another point to keep in mind after fitting this lens: always fit the lens first, the frame, before marking the centers. It seems logical, but it doesn't always happen. Once the lens is fitted, how can we mark the centers? There's the traditional manual method. Keep in mind to avoid convergence errors by occluding one eye and having the patient look straight ahead with the other eye. Or we also have alternatives, like in the case of digital center, which not only allows me to scale it and show right then and there to the parent or the child, so they can clearly see how the lens will look, what thickness it will have at the edge even before making it, but also when I send the information to the lab will be able to see how that design actually fits in that frame. The nasopupillary distance is very precise, and how the glasses really fit on the child's face. So all the parts of the process work more smoothly: the shaping, the assembly, and even the quality control. Quality control can fail even in the best labs, so when we receive the work at the optical shop, always remember to check it as soon as it arrives to save time. Never call the client and then check the work afterward. And once the client is at the optical shop, that patient, check again to make sure the fit is correct, that it doesn't slip but also isn't too tight. A key ally in these cases are the silicone temple tips for kids, which are fantastic. Taking all this into account, remind the parents about the schedule they already have set up with the ophthalmologist for follow-ups, and at the same time, set up a schedule for visits to the optical shop so we can keep checking that the child is wearing the glasses properly. If any adjustments are needed, straightening them a bit, for example, we can do it regularly instead of waiting until they come back a year later for a new pair of glasses. So with that, I'll say goodbye. Wait, one more thing. Remember that Sophia is also available for any questions you might have, whether it's advice, a test, or anything related to MyoFix and myopia control. She's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Well, thank you very much. See you later.
We've reached a key moment in this presentation. We've walked the path of scientific research, clinical validation, and technological design. But today, we're not just launching a new lens. We're putting into motion a concrete, practical, and deeply transformative solution for the lives of thousands of children and their families. A foundation that combines innovation, visual health, and social commitment.
Novar MyoFix is now available to everyone. Starting today, vision professionals from various specialties will be able to begin prescribing a lens designed with Defocus Technology, also known as peripheral defocus, scientifically validated to slow the progression of childhood myopia. And we're not doing this just any way. We're doing it responsibly and with a clear promise of trust. Novar MyoFix lenses will include all the necessary guarantees, such as adaptation and effectiveness, to ensure a satisfying experience for both the professional and the patient. This launch is on a global scale. Novar MyoFix is already available in regions of Latin America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, backed by the technical and operational support of our internationally certified network of laboratories. On screen, you can see the global availability map, which will be continuously updated on our website, where you can also download technical datasheets and access institutional materials. Professionals will be able to access the lenses through their official laboratories in each country or request direct contact information on our landing page or website. In some countries, the start of distribution is subject to the necessary local regulatory approvals. In other cases, we will provide all clinical documentation, usage protocols, and legal materials to facilitate the approval processes, along with support from our regional team. Additionally, we are simultaneously launching the Novar Campus, a platform designed for the ongoing education of vision professionals. There you will find clinical training modules, videos from the Focus Congress, detailed scientific studies, and direct access to Sophia, our intelligent training and professional advisory assistant, available in multiple languages 24/7. And to accompany this launch, we will also introduce the Novar MyoFix Starter Kit, a tool designed to make communication, adaptation, and product promotion easier. What does this kit include? Visual and digital marketing materials, technical and commercial guides, training videos, and access to technological updates before the public launch. This kit will be available for a limited time and only to professionals registered in our network.
What we are presenting today is not just a technological innovation to slow down myopia or a commercial campaign. It is a strategic action with real social impact. A call to all professionals committed to children's visual health. It's time to act. Join the change. Let's help see the future.
Proven clinical evidence, MyoFix has demonstrated 75% effectiveness in reducing the progression of childhood myopia in the studies presented. Defocus Technology uses peripheral defocus technology to correct vision while also stimulating ocular adaptation, slowing axial growth. Aesthetic and acceptance benefits, thinner lens, no visible marks, boosting the child's self-esteem and preventing school-related stigma. Versatility for daily use, comfort and safety for prolonged wear, adapting to children's routines and visual needs. Long-term eye health impact, can help prevent severe complications associated with high myopia in adulthood. Professional opportunity, incorporating Novar MyoFix into your practice positions you as a leader in myopia control and children's eye care. Remember, an accurate measurement, ideally with digital devices, and the correct choice of frames are essential to ensure maximum treatment effectiveness and patient comfort.
Thanks to all of you who care about our vision. Slowing the progression of myopia wouldn't be possible without your hard work and daily dedication.
Gracias.